Unit 5 Case Study. Flight schedule for San Francisco Airport. The San Francisco Airport implemented SAP and hired you to build a program to display the flight schedule of the airport. The program is going to be used by the different airlines working at the airport. They are not allowed to see other airlines' flight schedule. You are asked to start with the AA airline. The front desk workers will enter an airline and a flight number into the system, and the system will have to display all flight dates available with available number of seats in first and business class. The information is stored in the S-Flight, SP-Fly, and SCAR database tables. The solution to this case study is: first, we're going to start by creating a database view joining the SP-Fly and S-Fly tables. Then we're going to create a role for the AA airline workers. We are going to assign the authorization object ZAO car ID to the role. We created this authorization object in the previous course. We're going to change the value of the field car ID to AA inside the role. Then we're going to create a program that asks for the airline ID and the flight number as an input, and then displays the required data. We're going to use the for all entries ABAP statement to select the airline names, and we're going to implement the required authorization checks. So let's start by navigating to the transaction SE11, the ABAP dictionary, and let's start creating our database view. So we're going to start by creating a database view called CVW_flight_SCH. So let's navigate to the ABAP dictionary and let's type CVW_flights_SCH, and then we click on create. We select database view, okay, one more time, and then we write a description. So database view for SP-Fly and S-Flight tables, and under tables we write our tables SP-Fly and S-Flight, and we hit enter. Then remember, we're joining two tables, so like we will join inside the ABAP program, we do the same here in the join conditions. So we're going to join these two tables by their primary key or their car ID. So we start with the SP-Fly table. Remember to always include the MAN-DT field, and we're going to make the join by the MAN-DT field and the car ID. So I type here car ID, and we also want to include the CON ID, that is the flight number. There we go. So now let's save. We save in our ABAP course and in our request, and now let's click on View Fields. Now here we're going to add our fields to our view. So we want to display the car ID from my SP fleet, and the field corresponding is the same car ID. I want the con ID also. I want the city from. I want the city to. I want the airport from. And I want the airport to also. I also want my flight time. And I want my arrival time. Let's also include my departure time. Departure time. And now from the other table we want the flight date, we want the price, we also want the currency, we want the seats max, the maximum number of seats, we want the occupied seats, we also want the maximum number of seats in business class, and at the same time the maximum in business class. The first was the occupied seats, this is the max seats on business class, and we want the same but for first class. So we press Ctrl Y on the keyboard, we select this, Ctrl C, we place our cursor here and Ctrl B, and then we can rename this to F's, and now we have all of our fields. So now we go ahead and save, check the syntax, and activate our database view. So now it is active. If we want to try it or test it, we can click on the contents on this icon, it's loading there. So now we can, you see that all of the fields are displayed, so you can enter values and then click on execute to filter a query. But we want to display all the contents of the joined tables, so we execute, and as we can see all of the fields we specified from both tables, the car ID, the con ID, the city from, the city to, from the SP flight table, and then the date and the price from the S flight table. So for example, for the American Airlines con ID or flight number 17, I have all these flight dates. So let's go back again, and now let's create a role for the American Airlines users. To create a role, we navigate to transaction PFCG, enter, and then we write the name of our role. In this case, CAA underscore American underscore Airlines, enter. And then we click on create single role. We write a description for this role. This is going to be the AA American Airlines role. Now we click on authorizations. It asks us to save. Yes, we save. And then we change the authorization data. We're going to assign our authorization object to our role. So we click, and then we do not select any template. We want to create our own template. Then we add manually our authorization object. So we click on manually, and then we type the name of our authorization object that we created earlier, the CAO car ID object. Yes, we want that. We expand these nodes, and then we change the activity, and we select display, and we save. And then we change the airline code. We click on the matchbox, and then we select American Airlines. Okay, we only want American Airlines. Remember, we want to restrict the information just for this airline. Other airlines cannot be seen. So yes, we save just for American Airlines, and then we save, and the profile is created for our role. So yes, we click OK, and now we click on generate. So the profile is created, the status is generated. So now we go back, and the authorizations are green now. They're good to go. So now the user. Let's add our user. So I'm going to add my user just for the purpose of this case study, but in this case here, you can assign all of your American Airlines workers users. So you create a user for every worker in the system, and then you assign all of their users in here. So I assign my user, I press enter, I click on user comparison, complete comparison, yes. Now it is green. So now my role is good to go, it's ready. So I save, I go back, and now let's go to the Object Navigator and let's create our program. Transaction SE80, and then I go to my package ABAP course, and then I right click on programs, create, and I'm going to call my program C flight schedule for AA American Airlines without the top include. Okay, and the title is flight schedule for American Airlines AA, and executable program, and then we save. We select our package, the ABAP course, and the same request, and now we're ready to write our program. So let's start by declaring some internal tables and some work areas. So let's declare an internal table called local table underscore flight, type table of my created view. Remember the name of our view, C flight. So now I have an internal table with this structured type with the same fields of my view. Now I also want a working area. So I declare my working area. Let's also declare another internal table for the airline names. So type table of, and the airline names are stored in the SCAR database table. And we also want a working area for that. So we declare our working area. Now let's ask for the input. So we use parameters. We're going to ask for a car ID or an airline ID. So the type, I don't remember the type, but I know it is on this table, so I can refer to its type like this. And the same for the flight number or the con ID. Now, before performing the select, we have to do the authority check. Remember, this is only for the AA Airlines. So let's save our program, and now let's click on the pattern button. Let's select authority check, and let's write our authority object and click OK. The code is generated, and then we just replace the field for the parameter ID, and remember that our activity was 3 for display. Now if this goes OK, if size sub RC equals 0, then we can start writing our selects. Else, if not, then we're going to message to the screen, you are not authorized to view this airline information. Type I. So let's save, and then we can start typing. So first, let's select all of our information from our database view. Into our table LT flight, where the car ID equals the parameter and the con ID equals the other parameter. Now we have our values in this internal table, but remember, we don't have the airline names, we only have their IDs, so we need to go and select all the airline names for our corresponding IDs. So how do we do that? So we select everything from the SCAR table into corresponding fields of table LT names. Remember, in the SCAR we have the names, and we use the for all entries in our flight table, where our car ID equals our flight car ID. So now we're going to select all of our airline names in this other table. So now we have our information in this table and our names in this other table. So now our last thing to do is to print our output to the screen. So we use a loop, and we loop at our flight table into our working area, flight working area, and inside our loop we're going to read our names table. We need to get that name of our airline ID into our working area names with key. We erase the table where it's just with key, car ID equals the WA flight car ID. If we find the same ID in both tables, or if our size sub RC equals 0, then we have a match. So we can write safely to the screen. Remember, before we write, we always add a new line. So we write our WA car ID, all of our fields. Remember them. We write from another table, we write the car name. From the flight, we also have the con ID. We have the city from and the city to. We also have the airport from and the airport to. We also have the flight time and the arrival time, as well as the departure time. I also remember we have the price, the currency, the seats max, the occupied seats, and then we have these same fields but for business class and first class. So I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this and then just add underscore F for first class, underscore B for business class. So if we've got a match, we write our result to the screen. If not, we just print a message that you are not authorized to view this airline information. So let's save our program, check the syntax, and we have a problem with our view. So I think we name our view another way. We can always check by opening another session, navigating, it's flights with an S. So we can close this session and then I can add the S. I check the syntax. I'll have the same error here. So I write the S, I check the syntax. Now that I correct my errors, I can activate again. I'm sorry, I forgot the S there. And then I can run my program. And I'll remember we can always change this name, so let's go back and change them. The text elements, the text symbols. And this is the airline. And this is the flight number. We activate our text elements, go back, run our program, and now we can select, for example, the American Airlines and the flight number. Let's select the San Francisco flight and let's run our program, and the information is displayed. So you can see this is our airline ID and this is the name that we got it from the other table. At the end, we joined the three tables into one single report. Remember that we joined two tables using a database view, and then we use for all entries to join the database view with another table. And all of our information is displayed. Don't worry about the format of the display for right now. In later courses, we're going to learn how to display this in a better way. Now, Let's try with another airline. For example, I want to see the information about the Air Berlin airline, and I want to see, well, they don't have a flight number, so let's select another one that has a flight number. For example, the United Airlines. I want to see flight number 941, and I execute. So let's try, for example, with the Air France or the Alitalia airline, AC airline, and let's try with the flight number to Rome 7788. And as you can see, the system displays you are not authorized to view this airline information because this profile or this role is just for the American Airlines workers. So there, we just completed our requirement. We created a program for the American airline workers, and they are restricted to see only their information in the system.